I got a Daisy feeling. I got a Daisy feeling. Yeah.
So, have you ever seen any of TAKASHii from Japan video? Am I saying his name correctly?
TAKASHii?
TAKASHii.
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 No, I have not, but I'm excited to see it.
His shorts just kept getting recommended to me, and basically he is a Japanese guy who goes up to people in Tokyo, usually foreigners, I think, or he's got some interesting ones with like happas as well. He'll go up to them and then talk to them about what it's like for them in Japan, what their life in Japan, and this, that, and the other. And it's always really interesting because I am a bit of a, what would you say, a Japan file, a Nippon file. I just
What?
I just
Wait, a what?
no,
one more,
like,
one more.
You know, like when you add a file at the end of a word, like PHILE, it just means that you love it.
Okay.
So like I've always just kind of really loved Japanese culture. So like I find his videos really, really interesting. So we're actually going to be watching one today, which is called "What's It Like Living in Japan for Indians?"
Should be very interesting.
Oh yeah. In case you guys didn't know, Kristen grew up in Japan. Japanese was your which language?
So Japanese is my second language. German was my first. Japanese is my second. However, Japanese is technically my primary because I went
you
from
believe
elementary
that?
all the way to high school, and I was the only American in all Japanese school.
So now, what the freak?
I got cheese.
You got cheese. Okay.
Thanks, Jab.
Yeah, thank you, Jabby, for feeding Kristen and not me.
I should have split my cheese. Sorry.
That's okay. So now you guys know something cool about Kristen, because I bet you would have never thunk that if we hadn't told you, or if you've been following the channel long enough, you would probably already know that.
You know. If you don't, well, you do now.
So, you guys, I'm sure that Kristen will be able to offer me some additional insight into this. But before we jump into it, please don't forget to subscribe, click the bell icon, all notifications, and upvote this video. Also, if you enjoy the videos from TAKASHii from Japan, then go ahead and click the link in the description and give him a subscribe as well. Alrighty, let's get into it.
What's it like being Indian in Japan?
I think
How do Japanese people see Indian people?
So the first reaction I get is,
You're gonna go back to
I didn't
India
even think
next
the
year,
first
right?
guy,
What's
or the second girl was Indian.
Hey
I was
guys,
like,
I
what?
am TAKASHii from Japan. So today I'm going to interview Indians in Japan. What's it like living in Japan for Indians? Okay, let's get started. Thank
I
you
love
for
you,
your
so
time.
cute.
Can you introduce yourself?
I'm Srishti. I'm from India and I've been in Japan for a very long time, over 10 years.
Wow.
How do Japanese people see Indian people?
So the first reaction I get is atama ii ne.
Whoa, her Japanese
What's
is
that
good.
mean?
You're
Especially in
like you're
mathematics.
smart.
Oh, okay.
Like wow, you're really smart. You're brilliant.
Oh, okay.
But
Wow.
if you translate it in English, when you say "atama ii ne," it's kind of funny because it means head's really good, kind of like.
Oh,
if you did,
okay.
But
Head
what they're saying is, wow, they're really smart.
Oh, okay. I'm so glad I have a
Yeah.
translator right here. Do they have subtitles? Do I need subtitles?
Obviously, she
No.
definitely has been there for a while because her Japanese accent is nice.
Well, a lot of the videos that I've seen from him, the people that he interviews, a lot of them speak really good Japanese as well. And I'm
Oh, yeah.
always just amazed. Like I just saw one with an Italian girl and she was speaking Japanese. I'm like, maybe it's just a thing when you go to Japan, you really do have to learn Japanese. In
Well,
order
if
to
you're
get by.
working there, yeah, you know, just comes with the territory.
I just learned a new word. Atamaine.
Atama ii ne.
I did not say it as well as she did.
So the people who you meet outside India are one of those who are really good. But you cannot generalize about the whole India,
Oh.
A lot of people, it's like
A
still
little
back in
stumble.
India. So it's hard to say that,
Like that.
everyone is really good in maths. But the people who actually come here are good in maths.
Okay.
And especially if you don't mind me asking, what do you do?
I am currently an IT consultant.
What a surprise.
Then
What a
like the
surprise.
amount of Indians is not even 1% of Indians are there in Japan. So
Alright.
those who are really good are here.
That's why they're here.
Yeah, that's why they're here or they get out of India.
Right. What's something you never see in India, but you always see in Japan?
Oh, that's a good question.
Peace.
Peace.
What does it mean?
As in,
Shant.
everything is so calmed down. Like, everything is disciplined. Like, you have to plan it because things take time and it gets done on time. If you plan it well,
Oh my
you
God,
get your
it's
things done
true.
without an issue, without any problem.
That is so true, actually, because so on our trip to India, we transited through Japan. And then on the way back, we actually got off in Japan for like a day or like half a day. And we were hanging out. But coming from the chaos that is India, where everything, like there's so many people and everything is going on. And it's like cars, traffic, noise, like spices, flavors, colors, like everything is a law. And timekeeping is like, that is flexible, you know?
Japan, they're not very flexible. This is how it's done.
Right.
We got a straight line. We don't stray from the map. Everything, it have to be on time. If you're not, it's disrespectful. People will like look at you some type of way. But it's very like, we're going to have everything's clean, organized.
Yeah.
This is the plan. Let's execute it. But they're not, Japanese people are not people who are like crazy in the sense of like, like all over the place. They're very structured people.
It's just,
Very structured.
everything is so clean and just so nice. I can imagine it might have been a culture shock for her coming to Japan. I hope that she
for
wasn't
sure.
like late or anything on her first day at work, because that would have been really bad.
For example, I was talking to a colleague the other time. He was leaving Japan and he said he had some paper missing for the ward office, and they were like, you cannot email, you have to either come in person or send by the post.
Wow.
But it's like he has only 1 day left, so managing things. So maybe in those cases a little bit, maybe a bit more flexibility, or like if it goes, if you can just email or digitalize a little bit.
Yeah, they love the
around.
hard copies in
What's something
Japan,
you
huh?
always see in India, but you never see in Japan.
Oh.
Chaos.
Like, in what sense?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a lot of population, so wherever you go, it's very crowded.
Which
it's
is similar
different.
to Japan. It's very crowded and there's a lot of population as well.
Yeah.
However, there's still structure to the madness, which is really impressive, honestly.
Because even when you look at your crossing, right? Like it's such a legendary, iconic image of Tokyo, but everyone is just like, okay, it's time for the pedestrians to walk, and
Well, here's the thing.
everyone goes,
Well, even in Japan, like even the train stations, those are pretty crazy too. But you always have like your left side for going up, your right side for going down. You have certain areas that you go so that it's just smooth.
Yeah.
And the thing I love about Japan though is they're like no other country in the world because they actually respect the outside. They respect transportation. You know what I mean? They're very clean. They're very considerate, but they make it clean for everybody so it stays that way.
Right.
But not only that, it's like everybody else is, it's like every man for himself kind of
Yeah,
thing, right? Where
yeah.
they're actually very helpful and very giving people. But everything they do, like I said, it goes back to, okay, even the chaos, we have some type of structure to
There's
it.
order
And
in the chaos.
Yes, but
Yeah.
and they take good care of everything.
I feel like we could all learn from
Everything.
Japan.
Yeah.
Things are not exactly systematic, and there's no punctuality and discipline. Like maybe there is, but very, very few places.
Yeah, no.
So that's something I really like about Japan. People, you decide a time, you stick to it, you have a timing, appointments, schedules.
You've
Yeah.
been in Japan for over 10 years. Can you imagine yourself going back to India and
Oh.
living there?
Great question.
It's a hard one.
Right now, not really.
She's become Japanese.
I think if I go to India, I sometimes have to try to understand the culture otherwise. Like, you're so used to the Japanese way. Like, I think I was buying something and, you just don't think, you consciously just line up and then you realize nobody's lining up.
Right.
So, it's like this adjusting, like I have to
Japan loves
readjust
lines.
if
Oh,
I
yeah.
They love a good
Japan
line.
is definitely one of the really amazing places. So safe, so secure. Like, best part is I can get an ice cream at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
But of course, it has its own pros and cons. But I feel like I'm still young. I want to travel.
Okay. Any advice or message to Indian people who's watching this video?
I would say the language can be a big issue. For the first time you come, to navigate around. So it's maybe good to have a little bit of start. I think Japanese people are good in English. but it's just the starting
He looks
point,
surprised.
Yeah, he's like,
you find a middle ground.
Some
so
of them
if you
are.
start with a few words in Japanese, the other person is like more, helpful. Like they will translate. If they cannot speak, they will translate. They work around. But if you start in English, which comes off maybe a little strong, so it's a bit hard to break the ice. So that would be, if you can learn a bit of phrase. Country can
I think that's
get a
like,
little lonely
that goes for
if you
anywhere
are
in the world.
really
That's
alone,
true.
So make new friends. That's all. Yeah.
I think Japanese people appreciate when foreigners try to speak Japanese. Doesn't have to be to hold a conversation or something like that. Like like show their effort. Last question. Like, do you speak Japanese?
話します。話します。I speak Japanese.
10年日本にいるから。
そうですね。それと大学時に
Ooh,
大学でも勉強しました
wow.
Oh, she's smooth.
Grammar, language is not hard. What is hard is kanji.
Kanji.
Oh, yeah.
So
I bet.
I would
Kanji's
say
hard
I'm
for
not
everybody.
good in reading and writing.
But you work here in Japan, right? Like, does it really matter?
If you can speak, it's good enough.
Oh, it's good enough.
Yes,
Oh, really?
because a lot of times you don't really need to read and write.
Oh, really?
At least in international companies,
Right.
the documentation can be done in English. But as you see, like even if you're international companies, your customers are local. So you need to communicate. So if you can communicate, reading and writing is not the most sought after.
What's really interesting, I think, is that I am under the belief that probably Indians would have an easier time learning Japanese maybe than like most Americans or something, because Indians already speak on average at least 2 or 3 languages, right? And so
Their brain's already.
yeah, it's already
ready
like
to
open
go.
for language. And so I feel like if you already kind of know how to speak different languages, it might be easier to pick up another one. Whereas if you're, the average American who knows about 0.8 languages, then you might have a hard time because, my joke is, anyway, you guys get my joke, right? That most Americans don't even really know English. Anyway,
ACHARA.
I'm sure I saw that somewhere. I don't make any original jokes, okay?
Well, if you can do it, it's best.
Yeah, sure. I know, yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you for your time. Where are you
Ooh.
from?
I am from Lucknow.
Lucknow.
Yep.
Nice to meet you. And you're traveling here, right?
Yeah, I am.
He definitely looks like a
It's been 10
tourist.
days since I'm here, and probably 2 more days here. Then I'll go back to my nation.
First time?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. What's it like traveling in Japan so far? As an Indian, what's it like?
It's great. I mean, seeing the public transportation, the level of complicacy in public transportation, it's very different from what we have in India. The prices, yes, they are on a bit of a expensive side.
Yeah.
Intra-city transport that we have, the public
Especially
transport that we
produce.
have in Japan is just next level. I've been using the subways and the trains that you guys have, and I mean, it's just crazy.
Have you interacted with Japanese people so far?
Not much. I mean, mostly I've seen them getting busy into their mobile phones or their laptops or, working on some things. Not as available as we have people in India. So in India, when we are traveling, most of us are, trying to interact with each other.
Yep.
But from whatever I've seen in Japan, most of the guys are, into their phones, listening to music.
Japanese people are not very open, as I've seen in other many films in India and stuff like that. They're very personable, but they live more in the moment, and they like the connection.
Yeah.
Where Japanese people, you actually have to work for it in order for them to drop everything that they're doing in order to
Right.
communicate with you. Granted, there are people who are always looking for somebody who's from overseas that they want to connect with or they want to practice English. But for the most part, Japanese people are always working. They're always on the go. They're
Right.
always doing something, but they're also very to themselves and a lot more private than most cultures. I mean, the only other culture, I think Germans are very similar to that in the sense of Germans are very to themselves. However, the moment a German opens up their door for you, they're completely different people and they become family. Japanese are very similar, but they're always very polite, and very, very proper.
Yeah.
And granted, when you go partying with them, I tell you what, Japanese people are the funnest people to party with. They're hilarious. They're actually really, really funny. It's funny he says it because I think a lot of people would look at it as okay, they're just glued to their devices. And in a sense, yes, but at the same time, they're just hustling.
It's just a different culture.
And they're trying to stay out of people's way and mind their own business and carry on.
But so not that much of an interaction per se.
Have you tried Indian food in Japan?
What?
Nope, not now. Not yet.
Why would you?
I
Yeah.
thought of trying it out, but I mean, seeing the prices here, I am
Oof.
quite. It's
The prices
much
are expensive.
So there is dish known as samosas in India. We get that for around 10 rupees for two, and that is around, if I convert into Japanese yen, it will be around 15 yen.
Okay, so 15 yen. No, 1,500.
15 yen.
15 yen, that's so cute.
So, I mean, compared to what I just saw, I mean, the menu that
Saying
I saw, it was
goihaka.
more like 450 yen, and I was like,
Never
no.
mind. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'll just
Which
get it
totally
at
makes
home.
sense.
To
Yeah.
Kyoto and Osaka, there was a huge population of Indians, and I was seeing
Oh.
like every 20 every 20 guys I see, there was one Indian at least in the group.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I mean, it's a huge population.
Thank you so much.
You'll see everybody, anyone there.
Like, where you from?
I'm from India. My name is Rucha, and I've been in Japan from 7 months.
Thank
Oh
you.
wow. I love her
I
outfit.
work
I
in
know.
an IT firm,
Okay.
a multinational company.
I am not surprised.
And originally, I was supposed to come to Japan in 2019, but because of COVID and all the border restrictions, it was postponed. And I came just 6 months back, and I'm working for Japanese projects and Japanese clients.
What's it like
Wow.
being Indian in Japan?
I think Japanese are very welcoming towards Indians, and when I tell that I'm from India, I see that they are treating me with respect. And there is a language barrier for sure here, but they try to help as much as possible from their
Very
end.
helpful people.
So
Yeah.
it's been a good experience as of now.
Like, do you have Japanese friends?
Yeah, I do have, mostly in office, but since I work in an IT company, so we meet a lot of Japanese there.
Like, so when you say you're from India, what's the impression? What's the reaction when you say you're from India?
Mostly it's been good. So they start asking about how is the culture there, and they are mostly interested in food. So they ask, do you like curry? Can we go to restaurants? So I think they're more interested in culture and about food of India.
Everyone loves food.
So
Yeah.
I'll be getting married, and I'll be moving back to India.
Oh,
Japan is very good. I am loving my experience here, but India is my home, so
Aw.
I see myself settling
That's
in
sweet.
India in future.
Bless.
Okay.
She looks
what's
so
something
nervous,
you
like
miss
holding her
about
hands.
Japan next year?
I'll miss everything in Japan. I think the people are very kind. I
The
miss
food.
convenience stores the most.
Oh,
Convenience is
yeah.
the best part in India. In Japan, and I hope they implement same concept in India very soon.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that is one thing. Other than that,
I want to just
rules,
eat all the
culture
convenience
that,
store food.
Japan has, for example, in train, people they don't make noise so that other people can carry out their work
Yep.
quietly. And
Speaking about noise, okay, I'm
Ah!
gonna throw someone under the bus.
Here we
okay?
go. You're on like a hot one today.
I am
You're on a hot one.
today. No, I mean, it's interesting
I
that she
love it.
said that because we were on the train in Japan and Mr. Jabby loves, watching stuff out loud. And we're
Which is not
we're
normal.
on the train. It was from the airport, so it was a lot of foreigners on the train,
Yeah.
but it was like mostly an empty carriage. And we were sitting like on one area, and then someone else was in the other corner, and then someone else was like on the other side.
Yeah.
So there was some distance between us. So Jabby was listening to something out loud, but I was like, it wasn't that loud. I just want to.
It wasn't that loud.
It was loud. No, just kidding. I wasn't there.
It wasn't that loud. It wasn't that loud. But I was like, Jabby, we're in Japan. You don't do that in Japan. It's against the culture.
It's not against the culture.
I was trying so hard to be respectful. Jabby's like, listen, it's not that loud, okay? And like, there's literally no one on the train. So calm down, Achara.
That's
but I think
funny.
she supported my argument. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know about that, Achara. I mean, I see what you're saying, but I mean, most of the time you have your thing, so.
Yeah, no, he didn't have
They'll
headphones.
just write me off as American. It's fine.
I know. Why do you want to like feed into the asshole American stereotype, Jabby Kuwait? I was just trying to save your reputation.
He can't help that that's how he was, brought up. Like, it's a culture thing.
I know.
It's a culture thing.
I always try and be respectful of the culture of the country that I'm in,
Yeah, of course. Everybody, I think, well, actually, no, not everybody.
No, not everybody.
Not everybody. Yeah.
Clearly not.
I do the same, though. Not what he does, but like, I'm always aware of my surroundings and like to be respectful.
Yeah.
Sleep or work. So yeah, these little things I'll miss in India.
Okay.
So I am a vegetarian. I don't eat.
Really?
Yeah. So
That must be hard.
Yeah.
Oh, in
Especially in
Japan.
that is the first advice I want to give. If you're a vegetarian, please learn cooking. There are very limited options available even in kombinis. I usually have to eat something sweet or dessert because spicy food I don't easily get in kombini or in restaurants as well. So please learn cooking, basics of cooking. Other than that, I think you should learn Japanese language, at least basics, so that you can navigate your life easily in Japan. So you should learn about their culture before coming.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
You speak Japanese?
I speak sukoshi dake desu.
Sukoshi
You are
dake
sure
desu.
Japanese?
Sukoshi.
Or up to you. No? Okay.
Oh, bless.
Thank you for your time. Where are you from?
I'm from India and my name is Pranavi.
Where in India you're from?
I'm from Hyderabad
Ah.
and it's been 6 months that I came to Japan.
Oh, 6 months as well.
Welcome to Japan. Okay, so
He's so cute.
speak about
I love Japanese.
Indian community in Japan. Is it big or is it actually small? You live in Tokyo, right?
Yeah. So now there are many people are migrating from India to Japan for work, and also we have, for example, we have two communities, two areas like Nishikasai and Ojima. So we have so many Indian people there, and we have so many communities according to our states. From Maharashtra, they have Marathi community. From Telugu, they have Telugu community. So we have so many people from India now. So
I didn't see any. Where were you
so many
guys?
Indian stores, Indian restaurants, and also it's easy for us also to adapt in Japan now. In Japan, the best thing I like is about Suica and Pasmo for transportation.
Yep.
Oh, everyone's saying
Oh yeah, the
transportation.
transportation's the best. You can go
Things like,
so far.
Rules and regulations here, the crossing signals, and it's little different from India. So these little things make us miss in India.
What's something you need to know as Indian before coming to Japan?
They have to know little bit of Japanese. If you know Japanese, it is very difficult even to buy anything from kombini or to buy a ticket in station also. They need basics of Japanese. Otherwise, it's gonna be very difficult to stay in Japan.
Japanese. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you for your time. Where are you from?
I'm from New Zealand, but I was born in India.
Oh.
I come here
I love
3 or
his
4
hair.
times a year for work, and each time I come, I stay for about a month.
What's it like being Indian in Japan?
I think Japan's amazing. I absolutely love it here, and I think being an Indian, it doesn't really change a lot of things. But yeah, maybe culturally, there are quite a few differences.
It can be a culture
especially when
shock.
it comes to scent.
Oh,
I've
scent.
been told that Japanese people like to be neutrally scented, so they don't like to smell like a strong perfume or anything like that.
Yeah, 'cause
Oh.
it's too much.
I prefer like some colognes, and so if I wear a strong cologne, I just have to be mindful and wary that if I go on the train or
Yeah, especially I was gonna say that, especially on the train. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I never knew that.
or whatever. So
How about the Indian communities in Japan, especially in Tokyo? Do you have lots of Indian friends in Japan, or like?
most of my friends in Japan are Japanese.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, usually when I go to Kyoto, a lot of the people that I catch up with are Japanese.
Right.
So
How did you meet them? How did you make friends? Japanese friends?
So there are 2 bars that I like going to, and
Great.
at the first bar, the guy who owns it, the first time I went there was very welcoming, and so just over time talking to him, he gave me recommendations and all of that. So yeah, and the second, I guess the second place is a nice cocktail bar that I go to as well.
This is the top tip right there. I don't know if you guys know, but my dad, his whole career was basically teaching English pretty much as a second
really?
language. So he had a lot of students who he taught, and then they would say, "Oh, I'm going to England for the summer," dinner or something, how can I improve my English? My dad goes, first thing you do, don't make any friends from the country that you're from. Secondly, go to the bar, just sit there and like just hang out and try and mingle with the locals. And I don't know if it's the same in Japan, but you know, in England, it might take a little while for people to warm up to you. But like if you're just there and you're just hanging out and you're becoming a regular, then they'll like open up to you.
No, bars in Japan, like people are, I tell you what, when Japanese people decide to party, they party. And they're the most welcoming, funniest people you will ever meet. They're hilarious. Like watching this, I'm so quiet because I'm just like enjoying every second of it. And it just makes me want to go home because I know that place like the back of my hand.
Let's go together and let's go to a bar.
Like this is I'm like, I want to go back home. Nihon ni karitai.
It's the same. It's owned by a French guy, but a lot of Japanese people work there.
What's something you always see in India, but you never see in Japan?
Oh, okay. I think in India, being a third world country, it's not as organized as it is in Japan. In saying that, I've only been to South India, a very particular part of South India. So I can't say as a generalization for the entire country.
Right.
It's a lot more chaotic.
Also, her outfit.
Traffic.
They're all like that. A lot.
And I guess there are a lot more people in a much more concentrated area. I feel like there's a similar situation in Japan, but people are a lot more quiet, respectful. It's a lot more peaceful here and a lot more ordered and structured.
Yeah, so interesting.
It's one of the safest places you can ever go.
There's quite a stark difference between those two, sort of realities. The other thing that you don't really see is dirt. So I feel like Japanese is, because there's a lot of construction where I'm from, at least, or the city that I was born in. There's dust everywhere, and usually a lot of rubbish everywhere. But yeah, things are a lot more ordered here, so there's
very
not
clean.
as much rubbish. There's like next to no trash on the streets. There's no dust. There's I feel like it's very clean in Japan. So
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you for watching so far. How was it? That was interesting. I hope this video will help you when you come to Japan, especially if you're Indian. Okay, anyway, thank you for watching. If you like this video, click like button. Please subscribe to my channel. If you have any question you want me to ask people in Japan, please leave it a comment too. See you next time.
Oh, what a cutie. He's a real cutie. I mean, I love this whole concept of like just talking to people on the street and finding out about them. I think he asks a lot of really insightful questions as well.
Yeah, and I think like it's kind of cool that he's trying to make it as easy for more than one culture to kind of like come in and like experience Japan in the right way.
Yeah.
And to have a good experience. Like, it's really sweet. I like that.
It's interesting as well, just kind of how there's so much commonality between a lot of the answers that they're giving. Like the main difference, it seems, is that while there's a lot of population in both countries, and I mean, of course, it's like to scale, right? India is much bigger and like Japan is very, very small, but there's a lot of people on this like in this small country.
Yeah.
But it's just like a difference in attitude and culture where India is just like this explosion of like energy and chaos and everything. Japan is like, yeah, we're busy, but we're also just very ordered. And it's so fascinating that in some ways countries can be so similar and yet vastly different at the same time. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed this.
I enjoyed his video.
So you want to go back to Japan?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because I used to go back quite a bit for work.
Yeah.
Because I actually did I did a lot of acting modeling in Japan where I met some of the top performers. Like I've worked with Exile. I've worked with Nande Taro. Inoch. I remember Inoch. There's Nande Taro. Inoch. So like, because I became like this little thing that like kind of just started doing really well. I was on the Tower of Records. I was on the World Cup commercial singing. Like I've done a lot in Japan. I've been on Unbelievable. So for those of you who are Japanese, I'm sure you know quite a bit of these programs and whatnot. And I even had like a channel where I used to speak English and Japanese as a little girl where I'd be like, oishii, it's so good. Like where you would teach them both English and Japanese. And the funny part was, as I was doing that, I was learning English.
Oh, you didn't even know?
Because my English was so bad. I was better in Japanese than I was in English.
Wow.
So everybody kind of thought that was funny. And I didn't even know like the difference between American and Japanese because my mom didn't teach me that until, because I went, elementary with these kids, like preschool, elementary, all the way up to high school. And I think the moment we all finally like it hit us, because none of their parents said anything. Their parents didn't say, Amerikajin, you know, none of them said that. And my mom never was like, oh, they're Japanese. Like nobody ever said anything. It was just, I'm just another kid who just looks different. And they'd be like, oh, Kristen, hana takai, which means your nose is tall. They're like, Pinocchio mitai. And I'm like, oh. I was like, I hate Pinocchio. And so I used to grab tape, put it on the top of my nose and push it down because everybody has like flatter noses there.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to look like Pinocchio. I was like, that's a little boy who lies. I can't stand Pinocchio. So in the 4th grade, we started getting into like more history. And it started talking about Hiroshima, like, yeah. And guess what? They showed us the cartoon where there's this little girl and she has, I can't remember the name of it right now, but she has this little like candy, like can of candies. Okay. And these candies are so good, by the way. But her brother, her whole family like dies and she's just, you know, living off these like little gumdrops. And we're like, oh my God. And in that moment, that's when we started realizing I'm different than they are. You know, because I wasn't there on orders or anything like that. I went there to live with my grandfather because my family split. So my mom had to go to City Hall, and the Japanese actually took my sisters and I into their facilities and allowed us to go into their school system.
Wow.
Yes, it was huge. Like, you don't get that very often. Like, and so anyway, so as we're learning, we're like, oh, and the teacher finally goes, and that's where, you know, we got Americans, we got Japanese, we got this. And then we're just like, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm American. We're horrible. We're horrible. You know, like, and I'm like, and we're all crying and we didn't understand like the full. So then my mom got a little upset because I came back like, I just found out I'm American. We're horrible people. You know, and my mom,
she's like,
my mom had to go back there and be like, oh, no, we're still teaching. We're teaching them like how it started. We didn't get there yet. We just watched this. She goes, okay, because this is messed up. Like, they need to know like history and like, you got to do it the right way, blah, blah.
Right.
And so then they broke it down and we're all like, well, both sides were pretty bad. Like, that's like, why is everybody so mean? Like,
oh, that's so interesting.
You know, and it was kind of cool to kind of like grow up like that and like see that huge difference from the 4th grade, starting from, you know, because I've been with my entire
like,
life.
Feeling like you're a part of that culture.
Yes, and then all of a sudden in that moment, I was like, so I know we all knew I looked different.
But you actually are different.
Yeah.
But the same.
Yeah, so that was kind of interesting because even when I spoke and stuff, like I didn't have like intense accent or anything. I was one of them.
Right, yeah.
They were me, I was them, and that was it. We've known each other since yay high all the way up, and so it was kind of a cool like learning experience. And then it became like I started developing differently than they did, and it was just kind of fun. It became really comical, honestly.
Well, I think I know who I want to take with me next time I go to Japan.
Hey, translator, got you.
Because I cannot speak Japanese very well. Toire wa doko desu ka?
That's good.
Where's the toilet? That's very important, you guys. And yep, on that note. We're going to end this now, and we'll catch you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, click the bell icon, all notifications, and upvote this video if you're having a good time. I'm ACHARA Kirk. This is
Kristen Sevespino.
Ciao!
Sayonara.